So, Aaron, can you start with what is a relationship coach and how does it different than your mostly people would think of like relationship or marriage counseling?
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about relationship coaching because I think a lot of people don't know what it is. Really, relationship coaching can deal with any type of relationship in your life. Relationships can really be relationships with your friends, relationships with your parents, relationships with your siblings, relationships with your children, obviously a romantic relationship or your spouse or the person that you're dating, any relationship you have at work. So it could be your boss, your coworkers. If you own a business, it can also be your employees or your clients.
Yeah.
Generally, the relationships that we want help with the most or assistance with are people that we potentially see every day or every week because maybe we're having some conflict in some way where we feel uncomfortable around that person. With a relationship coach, normally someone would go to a therapist for their romantic relationship. They wouldn't go to a therapist for something like someone at work
Hmm.
that they're just not working well with. They're not being productive with at work, or potentially their boss or something. And sometimes when you're in the work field, there is like an HR person you can go to for concerns or issues. Sometimes people feel reluctant to do that, but sometimes there is, people in place to help you with that. And other small businesses, you just kind of go to your manager, your supervisor, or your boss. But sometimes it might be a small personal thing that you just kind of want to talk to through a relationship coach, like a third party person.
Something that's important to emphasize is people seem like they don't realize that any kind of relationship or also social skills, it's a learnable skill. You mentioned going to HR or a manager, and that already kind of sets people on a defensive headspace. You get these tools on how to manage somebody that you may not get along with and how to help those interactions go better. That can be a huge benefit without having to work through such a formal process.
Yeah. And they are so interchangeable. I mean, we think about our relationship with our romantic partner different than we think of it with our boss and our children. And they are different. They're different dynamics, and we want different things in those relationships to be healthy in our lives. There are different dynamics in them. But like you said, the skills are transferable. So the more we know about that person, understand that person, and know more about ourselves and what we want in the relationship, are able to communicate that effectively so that they can hear it. They're all the same skills. They're just you're relating it to a different relationship.
So there's a concept where it's like you can't control other people, but you can control your reaction. And so with relationship coaching, it sounds like you're saying this can work even if it's like a one-sided thing. Like you're not going to bring in your ornery coworker to come meet with Aaron.
Yes, that's a good point. And something I didn't speak on earlier is that, yes, so a lot of people think of, relationship coaching in the terms of the romantic relationship, that you both go together, or you have separate sessions and then you have a session together to kind of work things out. And there's like this person, helping you, being the middle person, kind of helping you figure out that those conflicts or how to make things work. In relationship coaching, it's just the one person side. And I think that is kind of a new concept for a lot of people, is how can you work on a relationship when it's just you, right? Like if you're not communicating to that person. But the first step in really figuring out what's going on is one side of it, and you don't have control over that other side. So what you do have control over, the solutions that you can provide to that, if you're not currently communicating in an effective way with that person, is to speak with a relationship coach and figure out what's going on for you, so that you can figure that out and then be able to communicate more effectively with them. So it's kind of like step one. It's a way that you can figure out what you can do in this relationship and your part in it. Just kind of come to it with open eyes and create more awareness.